Alycats and you viewers. So today I'm reviewing Sherlock Season 4. Now I do have to say, right off the bat, this is one of my favorite seasons of Sherlock ever. I'm a major fan of Sherlock, but this comes very close to being my favorite season of all time. Well, of all the seasons that have aired, but you get my drift. Sherlock Season 4 is probably the darkest season yet, or ever, because this is possibly the last season of Sherlock. No! But Sherlock Season 4 focuses on the bond between Sherlock and John Watson. I won't spoil anything that happens in these episodes because I don't like spoiling things, but I will talk about the episodes, so if you don't want to hear me talk about the episodes and you'd rather skip to the end, I'll post a timestamp down below. But let's get into the episodes. The first episode is The Six Thatchers. This was directed by Rachel Talalay, who previously directed films like Freddy's Not Dead and Tank Girl. This is the weakest episode in my opinion, but it's still a good episode. This episode starts off being a typical Sherlock case. It unfolds into a totally different genre, and that's why I think it's the weakest, because it doesn't focus on one thing. It feels like it jumps around a lot. But there is a major twist in this episode that affects the rest of the series, and it's just a major twist that I did not see coming myself. It does pack a punch, but like I said, because it jumps around a lot and it feels like it's kind of disjointed at times, this is my least favorite episode, but it's still a good episode. The second episode is The Lying Detective, which is directed by Nick Curran, who directed Little Black Book and Childhood's End. And this is one of my favorite episodes out of the entire series of Sherlock. This episode focuses on how Sherlock delves back into drug abuse and his relationship with John after said thing happened in the previous episode. And this gave me major Doctor Strange vibes. This episode was very trippy, but it was also brilliantly executed. It introduced a new villain in the form of Toby Jones. He is playing a very famous man named Culverton Smith, and Culverton's not as sweet and innocent as he appears. And I think that Toby Jones did a fantastic job portraying Culverton Smith. He is one of the strongest enemies in the Sherlock series. And this episode was phenomenal. The visual effects were spectacular. The acting, in particular by Benedict Cumberbatch and Toby Jones, was fantastic. Martin Freeman gave nuance to John Watson, and at points you were annoyed with John Watson, but other times you understood why he was acting the way he did. And I just thought this was one of the best episodes to date of Sherlock. And the last episode is titled The Final Problem, which is directed by Benjamin Caron. And this is another very strong episode that introduces a new enemy to the Sherlock series, who is a phenomenal enemy. I adored this character. I will not say who it is because spoilers, but this character added a horror feel to the series, which is something that is new to Sherlock. I've never seen an episode of Sherlock that actually reminded me of horror films, and this is a very thrilling episode, probably the darkest episode ever of Sherlock, and it does kind of feel like they're saying goodbye in this episode. This does feel like a send-off episode, and it does wrap up very neatly, and even though I appreciate that and I love the way it ended, it does make me sad thinking that this might be the last Sherlock episode ever, because this was such a fantastic episode. It was very well acted, very well paced, the story was incredible, it was so dark, and as you can tell, this is one of my favorite episodes of all time from Sherlock, as well as The Lying Detective. So those are just some of my brief thoughts about the episodes, but I did enjoy this series. It's one of the darkest to date of Sherlock, which I appreciate because I like dark material. It's very smart. It feels like a good send-off to the series, and everyone was on their A game with their acting. If you have not seen Sherlock yet, please watch this series. It is just amazing, and I felt like this season was one of the best ever. So I do highly recommend watching Sherlock Season 4 or Sherlock the entire series. If you like this video, leave a like. Let me know down below if you watched Sherlock Season 4 and what your thoughts were. Please, no spoilers. If you like what you've seen and heard and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you'll see my face floating over here. You can click it and that'll subscribe you to my channel. Also make sure that bell down there is clicked because that alerts you every time I upload a new video. If you liked the video, please share it because that helps my channel grow. And if you'd like to follow me on social media sites, they're all listed down below in the description box. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and kisses. Bye.